Hello, hello, and welcome back, everyone. And after we got a second look into this great intro, we're here with the second match of today. After having just witnessed Scarfeld versus the Doja, we're now heading into Turtle versus Bobies. My name is Tukil, and I'm joined on commentary by Seal. Seal, how are you doing?
Doing good. I'm excited to watch and commentate on this race. So we have Turtle today, and he is seed number 12, and Bobies is seed number 5. And we're going to be seeing something a little bit different today, because Bobies, being Bobies, has decided that he's going to be doing Shuriken, a Shuriken sort of focus route. So instead of using bow for combat, we're going to be seeing some Shuriken combat, which is going to be pretty sick.
Yeah, it's quite a deviation from the normal bow combat that we will be seeing on Turtle's side. Turtle is going for all the same strat, or almost all the same strats we just saw from Scarfeld. Unfortunately, he only started MQO a little while back, so might not be as proficient with those strats as someone like Scar. But will try regardless. He said he will go for all the major tricks and attempt them as many tries as it takes him, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and it's not like anybody is proficient as Scarfeld on any of these things, so that's not exactly a slight on his half.
Yeah, that is fair.
Scar's a little bit insane when it comes to playing Ori. But yeah, definitely excited to get into this. It should be a very interesting race.
And we're gonna get into the race right now. Race time has started. We're gonna skip the intro prologue cutscene, and as a side note, both runners are also working with in-game timer, both on screen as well as their routes are dependent on that, so we will see the optimizations. And Turtle even going for this optimization to skip this little animation that Bobies just had.
Okay, total legitimate, already certified mad lad, I'll say. This is definitely something that I wouldn't consider sort of tournament safe, but yeah, he's going to attempt to do a little thing here where he uses some pause floats to land on the branch during his cutscene, which will give him... Did he get it? Oh, just short. That's unlucky. Would have allowed him to basically skip that animation, and you sort of see Ori continue this falling and standing up animation while Turtle has movement and jumping. It looks pretty cool. Saves like 2 seconds, but it's pretty difficult to do.
Yeah, he was attempting it, and honestly, I'm here for it. Just watching all the cool tricks being attempted is already cool enough. And we see, however, with that, Bobies in a slight lead. Both are heading up to the first hard trick of the run, which is this floating across the space and then getting to the keystone. Doesn't quite have the first jump, but the second jump is looking good and is getting across. Needs to kill the slime for later. Gonna have this animation, a bit of aggressive mouse wiggling as both animations play. Now for the second part. Does get its second try, and Turtle on his side is also rapidly approaching this, is actually making up some time compared to Bobies.
Yeah, I think overall Bobies is going to be feeling pretty happy about that. As a person who has run sort of in tournaments and stuff like that before, show match and stuff, like Keystone Jump is just sort of terrifying when you're doing it in a competitive setting. It's very finicky and it's very muscle memory based. There's not really a super consistent setup. So yeah, if you're able to get through it early and just get through, it's going to really help with your sort of confidence and nerves and settling into the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Race nerves, after all, are the thing. Even if you might feel like you're in a bit of an advantage with the seat difference in the race, you still don't want to start off badly. That just never feels good, and you kind of have to do this run for over an hour, so better have a good feeling about it. And both runners definitely can't be too unhappy about this start as we're heading into the Howl fight. And both runners are gonna attempt to be very quick about this. Of course, with just the torch, we don't see a lot of like different hard combat here just yet, even not on the side of Bobies, but we'll hopefully get to see some quick combat.
Yeah. You're never going to lose like significant time at Howl, but there is definitely some optimizations and better strats to complete the fight quickly. But sort of if it goes wrong, you're going to lose like 2 or 3 seconds, whereas if something goes wrong in one of the later boss fights, you're going to be losing like 40, 50 seconds potentially. So yeah, it's not so bad. Bobies here, dodging the first attack, but just goes going to face tank the second attack and gets through Howl very cleanly. Well done.
Here we can head with that onto our first actual ability that we get to keep. So not the board, but a sword that we can swing around. And Turtle on his side having a bit of trouble getting knocked back by Howl here. Is gonna attempt. Oh no! Takes a death and has to do the entire secrets again. Oh, that must be a bit frustrating.
That's super unfortunate. Yeah, so I guess I just cast our cursed turtle. Sorry, turtle, I feel really bad. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, the one way you can really mess up the Howl fight is if you get sort of stuck under his body. There is a sort of just kill plane in like the second half of Howl's body, and Turtle unfortunately got a little bit too close to that and he just insta-died. Has to do it again here as you see Bobies is now moving his way through, has got sword and moving on to double jump.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the sword first and foremost in kind of a movement-based way where this up slash gives you a bit more height. And yeah, gonna use this. Also gonna kill those slimes for the spirit light they give. We need a total of 400 spirit light up until we meet our first vendor of the run, as we get a bit of a high five from our runner's turtle approaching the sword tree just as Bobies is leaving the area. And yeah, we're gonna look for some quick slime kills to get to those 400 spirit light that we need.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is sort of maybe a little bit more of a comfortable part of the run for the next like sort of like 50 seconds or so. You're just sort of going through the motions. There's not too much you can do in terms of optimization with Sword. There's a few little neat tricks. But yeah, then we're going to be rapidly approaching the next completely terrifying part of the run, which is door skip. At least for me, I'm always terrified of door skip in this kind of setting again, because it's just something where things can go wrong a lot. But yeah, Bobies already through your section, going to QTMing the double jump tree animation. I'm not sure if Bobies is going to be skipping Sticky or taking Sticky to make door skip a little bit easier or not.
Yeah, it seems like he's skipping it. So will not have that safety of just sticking to walls, but needs to actually find the right spot to be able to jump off of them in this aforementioned trick. But is rapidly approaching it, and we'll see Turtle having a bit of trouble with this jump. Yet again, very precise movement if you want to get all of this, but is going through there and doesn't have quite the experience that someone like Bobies maybe has. Bobies has run different categories of the game, is also proficient in rando, so maybe a few more hours under his belt. But we'll see how that advantage is going to turn out with door skip.
Yeah, maybe like a few hundred more hours. Bobies is definitely a veteran in the sub Ori community. Yeah, we're going to see him doing his Dusk of Zen 2. Going for the sort of older stickuless strat where he's going to wait specifically for the front key to hit a specific point before jumping off that wall. And, ooh, doesn't get it first time. He's choosing to generally better hit to quit the menu to try again, but actually got it pretty quickly again. As we see, Turtle here is going to be making up time here every single time if Bobies continues to struggle with the trick, so it's good for Turtle. Ooh, second try though, nice job.
Yeah, and Turtle has kind of mentioned that he's just hoping that, oh no, he didn't get the spirit light off of this slime as it flew out of bounds. He's just hoping that he doesn't need to QTM to reset the Mantis's health, so hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully he gets it within a few tries. It is a very precise trick because there's only a small section of the wall where you can actually jump off of, and you need to hit exactly that. So hopefully with Sticky has a bit of an easier time setting it up and potentially hitting it. Oh, not quite, but good try. So hopefully second try.
That's unfortunate for sure. Yeah, all like very, very, very fine margins there. There's like a piece of the wall that you can jump off of, and it's a little bit easier to do with Sticky, but sometimes the game's like, nah, you don't. Yeah, struggling just a little bit. As we see, Bobies has got through the section now. Has just been picked up regen. So he's going to be taking a bit of a comfortable lead here. Going forward. Yeah,
it was 1 minute ahead at sword, and I think that just increased a bit. Unfortunately, Turtle is also having troubles with this trick, but yeah, this is one of the hardest tricks, especially to pick up early on, but even if you are experienced with the route and with the run, it can give you struggles, so... hopefully getting it this time. No, it was a bit too far to the left, as Bobies is making his way to resilience. What do you use resilience for?
Yeah, so we're going to be using resilience just for one specific trick that saves about 20-25 seconds. which is called Follow Swim or Down Swim or some other kind of swim. The name sort of changes every week, it feels like. But yeah, we're going to be using it to sort of skip a bunch of lever pulling and lowering the water in Qualox Hollow, and that's going to be pretty nice overall. So yeah, picking that up is a pretty difficult trick. We'll see how Bobies does. Coming up to sort of another difficult advanced trick for a little bit of time save here. Oh, doesn't get it first try. The reason we're doing this is trying to go over a very, very tall cutscene trigger, which if you get it first time saves about 7 seconds. But Bobies here struggling a little bit with the first part of the trick, which is not the easiest when you don't have Sticky. With Sticky, it's pretty straightforward, but yeah, you gotta sort of jump up and then hit a very specific point on the wall that allows you to get a normal jump, which you can then double jump off of. So let's go up to the middle part, and nice, good job. So eventually gets through that section, as we see Turtle still struggling a little bit with door skip.
Yeah, hard tricks left and right. Bobies got it this time, got the sentry, and can continue. Turtle unfortunately needs to QTM, so didn't quite get the trick in as many tries as he wanted to, but is continuing on. Honestly, I respect that. I respect the determination to just get every trick. He kind of mentioned that his decision to do the advanced route immediately kind of was influenced by the way he speedran Blind Forest, because he got stuck at a point where the tricks were just getting too hard and too hard to get into the brain, so he just wants to get into it immediately to be able to get faster times, which, honestly, great decision.
Yeah, respect the hustle. I still have a similar mindset where I want to do everything perfect. I'd rather attempt hard things and get it wrong than just sort of go for easier stuff. Yeah, but we're gonna see Bobies here. He's got to the bow tree. Obviously for Bobies, bow is mainly just going to be used for a couple of puzzle sections, especially the section immediately after bow tree. But yeah, we're not going to see a lot of usage of bow out of Bobies. Turtle gets it! Nice! Yes. Good job, Turtle. So getting through Doskip, that's going to feel really great for Turtle. Obviously, there's a bit of a significant time difference between the two runners now, but yeah, good job, Turtle, for getting through that, and now he's going to be able to sort of move on and probably be feeling really good about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting hard trick after trying it for quite a while, it always feels great, so I'm pretty sure he's having a bit of a boost right there. As Bobies did get the 2 ice stones. They are keystones, but not really. Don't worry about it. We're gonna open this keystone door that isn't really a keystone door to be able to get into the next area. And yeah, there's where we're gonna use that resilience that we picked up earlier and that Turtle also has for a very precise swim before we get to the fast skill of the early game dash.
Yeah, for sure. So probably going to as well to pick up another health cell here, equip resilience. Gonna be doing a nice little trick here, which is like a sort of regen jump. I don't know if it actually has an official name, but basically you can use regen and then jump on the same frame to actually move during a regen. And then basically time a jump in his spikes so that you take damage from the spikes and then heal. Ooh, actually didn't manage to get that. Which puts you at full health, and hitting the spikes gives you extra iframes in the water, which allows us to hit a save point in the middle of the water. It gets it second time, should be able to hit the save point pretty comfortably now. And now doing a bunch of blind movement to sort of get around this awkward little lip in the terrain. And then is now through the first part of Hollow Swim. So good job, Bobies.
Did Turtle miss some Spirit Light? He's only at 340. I think he might have missed some Spirit Light.
I guess so. There is a backup strat. He can simply go talk to Ofer, go past Ofer, and then drop down and get the 100 Spirit Light, which is what people do for the beginner route. So this is not like a soft lock or anything. It's just going to be a little bit unfortunate. I think he sort of wiggled his mouse around, so I think he knows that he's low on Spirit Light. So hopefully he sort of knows how to get around that. Yeah, but he's going to be going for Ofer skip now. Oh, doesn't quite get it. Have to reset there, and Bobies is going to be doing something that you wouldn't normally see in a main quest order speedrun. He's going to be activating the Spirit Trial. He's going to be doing the Spirit Trial. The main reason for that is to get a 1,000 Spirit Light. As you see Turtle doing a really nice job, doing a little bit of a different sort of strat compared to others with that final part of overskip, but gets it first try, so nice job.
Yeah, now gets that backup Spirit Light, and yeah, the reason why Bobies is getting that extra Spirit Light is because of the Shuriken that he is going to be getting. And you want Shuriken as soon as possible to be able to make good use of it. So as soon as you hit Glades again, you want to be able to buy it, and it costs 800 Spirit Light because we already exhausted the kind of discount that we get on the first OFO visit. He has to pay the entire 800, and this 1000 Spirit Light is just the quickest way to get that amount.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely the fastest way. 100 Spirit Light is a lot of Spirit Light in like normal pickups. So yeah, we're gonna see Bobies heading up there now. Luckily, this trial is fairly just like straightforward, especially when you're just trying to beat the ghost. Trials runners will be like shaming me right now for saying that. He's also going to be picking up another life cell. I think he picks up a little bit of extra safety health for some of the boss fights later in the run. As we see, Turtle is not going to be doing the swim actually. Oh no, wait, this is Bo. Never mind. I'm in the wrong area of the game. Forget me.
It's a big map. Like, no one's gonna blame you. There's a lot of stuff happening. Bobies kind of getting stuck here, but gets to the end of the trial with a reasonable time. 17 seconds is definitely not too shabby. And Turtle is approaching the bow tree right now. Just as an update on region tree, the difference was about 4 minutes. It probably hasn't really gone down since then, since Turtle had a bit of trouble. But regardless, he's moving on, and I appreciate that. It's great to watch.
Yeah, we're gonna see Bobies here doing the hardest part of the swim combination, doing the upswim. At least the first part of the upswim is definitely difficult. Gets that first try, takes an intentional death from some spikes in the wall that you can't see, and yeah, completes upswim first try. Really, really nice job there. That is another definitely sort of potentially stressful part of the run. It's a lot of like blind movement without a really easy, clean setup, at least for the first part. Bobies making it look easy.
Yeah, amazing to watch. And is now able to move into the next section, just needs to lower the water here to open the door, and then can move on to the next area. And yeah, this is all frog themed. This is a reason. There's a frog at the end of this area. We will visit said frog after a quick detour to get another skill. So yeah, that is what's gonna happen here as Turtle is just approaching the water section that Bobies just completed. So kind of a high five, not quite. And hopefully Turtle will get the down and upswim also fairly quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so for Bobies here, we're going to be doing Holmbug Arena Skip. He's going to be taking some energy refill from that. Spirit Well first. Turtle, nice job. Gets the first try, nice. We can see the second part is a little bit more difficult. Let's see if you can get it. Hey, nice job, Turtle. Good job. Yeah, so we're going to see Bobies here. He's going to be going up and then wave dashing. This is the first wave dash I think you see in the run. Straight over the arena, and we'll be coming back to that later to fight Humbug once we're a little bit more powerful. I've got a bit more health and energy, and yeah, Bobies is going down to what a lot of people call a sort of iconic skill in Ori, and that is Bash.
Didn't quite get the cutscene skip here for the tree. You kind of need to stand in a very specific spot and press bow as you pick up the tree. Didn't quite get it, so had to watch the cutscene, but no problem, is now able to do and move up. And Turtle doing all the strats where you QTM here to respawn at a later point to be able to save just a bit of time. And can move towards Dash Tree as well. Will of course not be doing the trial that Bobies has done because he doesn't need the Spirit Light. We will see bow combat from him. So his Spirit Light will be a bit more routed like most other runners we see in the tournament.
Yeah, so you see Bobies here even picking up even more Spirit Light than is required just for Shuriken, so we're going to see exactly sort of what he does with that. Maybe he buys the upgrade for Shuriken, not sure. But yeah, speaking of to frogs, or in that case, not speaking to frogs, because we don't have time for that, Bobies is going to Quallock, and we'll see if he can get this. He's going to go for the wave dash back across the arena. Nice job. That is not the easiest. You've got to get a coyote jump off your wave dash and then another jump. But yeah, it's definitely a nice little time save. Maybe saves like 2 or 3 seconds. Is Turtle, that really sucks. Getting trolled by the mosquito. It's still stood there. Nice, just kills it and gets through that section, but that's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, mosquitoes are a bit annoying, especially in that area against it. And Bobies trying not to bash here, just wants to get up and is now almost in Glades. But eyes on the left, we're about to see the upswim for Turtle, and hopefully it's all going as well as the downswim did. And Bobies on the right side activating a little cutscene that we normally skip. Not too much of a time loss, and Turtle didn't quite get up high enough. Let's try that again.
Yeah, Turtle is hitting some invisible, well, not invisible, but spikes in the wall that you can't see. Nice. So gets the hardest part of the trick out of the way. Now needs to die in said spikes that we can't see to give himself some extra iframes. Oh, so close. Yeah, and then on Bobies' side, so he's picked up Reckless. He's gonna get Wing Clip as well. Okay, so you can actually buy Wing Clip by using Shelp anywhere, but Bobies just got the Spirit Light and has bought Wing Clip outright, which is gonna help us kill an already pretty easy boss just a little bit faster, very, very late into the game. As now he's streaming through the level and he's going to be going for towards Wellspring.
It also makes some of the combat easier. For example, there's some combat arenas that have flying enemies where you can use Wing Clip for more damage. So not only that, but also for miscellaneous stuff during the run. And Turtle got through and is now activating the door and is gonna go do the same things as Bobies did before. So far not much of route divergence, and Bobies is also gonna skip this cutscene. I don't think we've watched anyone watch it this far into the tournament, which is good to see.
Yeah, it feels a little bit bad because it's just a simple sentry jump to go over the cutscene trigger. Yeah, Bobies here choosing to do what I call reverse Wellspring entrance. It's sort of backwards to the way we used to do it, only a couple of months ago, where you go to the energy cell first, wave dash over, and then we're going to try and go through the spinning wheel, which is sort of, I think, how you would actually do it casually, but obviously we're doing it a lot faster than a casual player would be.
Yeah, and we're gonna watch, cutscenes here, as Turtle is now also in possession of Bash. He's gonna do a bit of a detour here, actually. Gonna open up Moldwood to be able to grab a shard and some Spirit Light before heading into Glades.
Yeah, it's worth knowing here that Bobies hasn't done this yet. He actually didn't open the door to Moldwood, or at least this sort of lever activated door. And the reason why Turtle's doing it now is so that we can pick up the Splinter Shard, which is going to make his bow super souped up and strong, whereas Bobies isn't using bow for combat, so he doesn't need to do that. So he's opted to open the door later when we actually go to Moldwood.
Ooh, and Turtle trying for this very satisfying wave dash is giving it a few attempts. Luckily, wave dashes don't actually cost energy, so you basically have an infinite amount of tries on this. And also, cool to note is that Turtle was about half a minute ahead of his PB at Bash, so wow, if he continues that, maybe another tournament PB for him.
Nice, that would be really awesome. Here we see Bobies here. Actually chooses to open this lever as well before getting grapple. Maybe it makes sense to save a... Oh, you don't really save energy, I don't know. Is this maybe just a stylistic choice? I mean, he chooses to do so. Remember, but yeah, he's very, very surely coming up to grapple tree. And yeah, that's going to be another pretty important movement ability for us throughout the run.
Yeah, we are gonna use it mostly in this dungeon, but also in some later game areas. For now, just means that we can go through this dungeon. It allows us to, grapple onto these blue moss and plants thingies and be able to use that. If you backflip before that, you also can kind of preserve the momentum as you would, for example, for a Bash Glide. We will see whether Bobies or Turtle are gonna use that or not. It only saves minuscule time during some of the sections. So it would be great to see, but not necessarily great for our runners if they aren't comfortable with it.
It's definitely not a sort of well-known tech in sort of MQO circles, let's say that way. I can't imagine a lot of people use that. I know Mava uses it, but Mava's obviously cracked render runner as well. So maybe Bobies is also a cracked render runner, to be fair, so we might see it from Bobies. Yeah, we're gonna see Bobies here coming to the first combat arena that we actually have to do, which is in Wellspring. We're going to see some Shuriken combat here, or we're going to see Sword and a little bit of Shuriken. We're
And,
still making quick work of the enemies.
actual side note on the side of Turtle, he did get the cutscene skip at the start of Glades, which Bobies did not, so that is at least a bit of time save over his opponent. Still a long way to go, but this is also a long run, so stuff can happen, even to experienced runners, but of course we're just hope for great runs for both runners.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about 10 seconds of time save. Do the Grum skip, as it's called. Yeah, so we're gonna see Bobies here, not opting to go for this cutscene skip on the wheel. Maybe it's a little bit more challenging to do when you don't have bow to sort of easily destroy the growth and then dash into a save trigger. Instead, it's going to be choosing to watch the cutscene. But yeah, it's still getting towards the end of Wellspring now. Just got to go through the sort of spinning wheel section. The next section can be a little bit tricky, as Turtle is somewhere in Wellspring. Oh, he's just entering Wellspring. Nice.
He almost triggered the cutscene, so he QTM'd to be able to skip it again. Ooh, no. Doesn't quite get high enough and far enough to the left to skip the cutscene trigger. It's a very big box, so we need to kind of avoid it. Hopefully third tries the charm here.
Yeah, it's almost as if they don't want us to skip their cutscenes. It's unnecessarily high, but we get over it anyway.
Dang Moon for needing us to watch all the lore. Oh god, Turtle. Okay, he gets her.
Nice. As you see, Bobies almost hitting the escape now. Just needs to pick up some spray light and buy fast travel. But did a very clean aerial sentry, a couple of aerial sentries to get up to here very efficiently. And we're gonna see here. I guess we'll look to see if he can get the skip, but no, it doesn't get the skip where you pause on the exact frame where the cutscene starts and Ori just dies for whatever the heck reason, but instead can just QTM, which is still a lot faster than watching that cutscene.
Yeah, so now he starts the escape just as Turtle is about to enter the first floor. We'll see how long it takes him to complete this dungeon as we watch some cutscene, and Bobies is making quick work, opting to not do the wheel skip. Honestly, great decision in a race. It tends to like destroy races. And as a side note, Bobies didn't go to the left, which you don't need to activate the Wellspring TP, because you activate it as soon as you just talk to Over. So, should be able to use that in later runs.
Yeah, we'll be coming back to that teleport to when we go to Bowers Reach.
Yeah. And now is done with the escape, and we're gonna see some more cutscene.
Yeah, so Turtle actually going for a damage boost strat to do sort of the reverse route through Wellspring 1, the first floor of Wellspring, instead of doing for aerials. Pretty neat. That he pulled that off. Done. Yeah, so Bobies has finished the escape, and we're going to be taking our big detour of the game. This is because it doesn't affect the main quest order. We're going to be actually going to Luma Pools early. The main reason to do that is we want to be picking up Swim Dash or Water Dash for traversing through Silent Woods as fast as possible. Yeah, Turtle also picking up Grapple.
Yeah, it's funny to me how the skill has an official name and a community name, and they essentially mean the same thing but are different.
I actually don't know which is the proper name. I've always called it Water Dash, and I think I've always been wrong, and I guess I have always been wrong. But I don't know. For me, it's always been Water Dash. So.
I mean, it is Water Dash, so it is a good description of what it does. So. Nothing wrong here, as Turtle is about to hit the second floor, and Bobies got the fast cycle here, so can move into this next area without any problems. Let's see if the grapple hell room is gonna be hell for him. Nope. No problem, just one bash and is through.
Kind mosquito wanted to be a friend there, which oftentimes they're not. Oftentimes they're just horrible, which is why that room is called grapple hell room, because it can be hell. Yeah, so you see Turtle here is going to be entering the Wellspring Combat Arena. We're going to be seeing some bow combat here, which is what you're going to see most of the time you see this arena, if you're not watching Bobies. But yeah, bow again, also very, very, very strong and powerful. And we're going to be very, very quickly taking down these enemies. So good job on Turtle's part. Just one enemy left here and gets through that very cleanly. Nice job.
Yeah, well done, and did get a bunch of energy drops as well, so no concerns in that regard. As Bobies on the right is gonna go for this. Oh god.
Aerial?
Whoa!
Oh,
Whoa!
okay. Did Bobies get like a upside down bubble bouncer? He like hit the bubble on the bottom and just like flew back towards the floor. That was
I
mega
don't know.
weird.
I was mostly looking at the spiky thing that just slapped
This,
him in the
yeah, good old Ori physics where things that are attached to ropes can randomly just decide to go absolutely crazy for no apparent obvious reason. And oftentimes they have spike them, which can kill you, so that's always a fun thing to try and deal with.
Yeah, but here this puzzle skip on Bobby's side is Turtle is making quick work of the second floor, is almost through here, just needs to destroy the last bit of corruption and head on towards the last piece before heading towards the escape. Bobby's now going for this exploding guy, and how many tries do you think the door will take?
It's gonna be... I'm not gonna say, because I feel like whatever I say, it's gonna be cursed, so I'm just gonna say nothing. Because I don't want it to be bad. It's not first try, that's unfortunate. So my record for this, and I shouldn't be talking about myself, it's something like 15. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen to anybody in the tournament, because that would really suck. At 15, you're losing like a minute and a half, just because of RNG. It feels real bad.
We have seen one runner opting to do the arena already in this tournament, so hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, I hope not. So Bobies here having a little bit of unfortunateness with this door that sometimes just randomly does open. Gets a third try. That's obviously not amazing, but at least he's through. And yeah, he lost a little bit of time, but it's not a big deal overall in the context of the race, I don't think.
Yeah, he still has a bunch of leeway. If you look at the timers, they are already desynced by 2 minutes, and Bobies is around an area ahead, so no worries in that regard. Turtle just started up his escape. Very nicely done. He did get the fast cutscene skip, but decided to QTM anyway, maybe not too familiar with the super fast strat, and is gonna go through the wheel normally as well. And heading through the area as Bobies is approaching Swim Dash, Water Dash, our beloved fast water skill.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, Bobies here, one thing I've been really impressed with his gameplay so far is aerial sentries are so unbelievably clean and consistent. I don't think he's even like, I don't want to say he hasn't missed one, but like he's hit almost every single aerial sentry perfect, full height. It's just making areas like this area that we just went through to pick up all the keystones extremely fast for Bobies, so good job on that one.
It might be the actually an advantage in that regard that he has a bit of a slower PC, so the window might be a bit bigger for hitting it, but not sure. We can ask him maybe after, if he's up for an interview, what he thinks about his consistency, if that's normal for him, or yeah, if maybe race nerfs and made him do better routing and better sentry jumps. But now we're heading back towards Qualox Hollow, and we're gonna actually do the boss we skipped before. So hopefully that goes well, as Turtle is also talking soggily to some Wookiees.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the reason Bobies just randomly swam somewhere and then just teleported away is that we're activating a teleport that is very close to the Qualoc boss fight, which we're going to be coming back to. We can't do it now because, well, 2 reasons. One is that would break the main quest, and 2, Qualoc isn't even there because you're not supposed to be in this part of the game yet until you've finished rescuing Ku. So yeah, we're going to be seeing some Hornbug Shuriken action from Bobies. Does look a little bit slower than Bo for sure, but yeah, Bobies still doing a pretty good job being quick work of good old Hornbug here.
Yeah, I'm not sure Hornbug is the main reason you want like Shuriken. I think the main reason still is like Qualoc because of his massive hitbox. And yeah, I think actually Bobies' main reason for going the Shuriken route is that he just thinks bow combat is not as interesting as Shuriken combat, which honestly is understandable. You kind of just stand there, which is why it is so widely spread, because it is a fairly easy way to make sure that you destroy every boss you come across.
Okay, I have never seen that out of bounds before. That's a new one. Bobies just dashing straight through terrain. Like, for some reason the game works like that, I don't know. On the other side, we just saw Turtle get into Luma pools using the wave dash thing method, which is really cool. Super long wave dash. But yeah, don't worry, that's not a run ender for Bobies. If we do get an out of bounds, that happens, you can simply just quit the menu and go back to your previous save. So even though it's technically a rule break, it's because Bobies doesn't get any advantage from it. We're completely fine in that regard.
Yeah, with the out of bounds still heading through the sect, and the QTM, of course, technically you are not allowed to go out of bounds, but if it doesn't like propose any kind of advantage, and in this case you definitely didn't get an advantage, it's no problem, so can continue here, as Turtle is also now approaching the door, so yeah, I'm gonna ask you again.
I don't know. I'm so scared to curse him. I'm just gonna watch and then go. I was gonna say not first try because it wasn't first try. Hopefully, it's less than 3 or at least equal to 3. That's what I will say.
Okay. Hopefully, yes.
Anyway, second try. And from a purely wanting the race to be as competitive as possible mindset, I'm glad that he was faster than Bobies because that makes just the race a little bit closer.
Yeah, that is fair enough. And yeah, we're gonna see him approach the same water dash area that Bobies has been through, and on Bobies' side we're gonna see a nice wave dash potentially, and then followed by a very precise skip to not deal with this cutscene here. So hopefully setting up and not quite first try. It's a very hard trick.
Yeah, Bobies is a very, very experienced NMG runner, so I won't expect him to struggle with coup skip. Obviously, a main quest order, we've now got to do coup unskip, where we unskip the cutscene, because that's the way the main quest order works. But yeah, Bobies is going to be moving through this area pretty quickly. Now that we've picked up a keystone and we have activated this cutscene, we've got to go back to the beginning area, take a save, and then intentionally die so that we spawn on coup. And then we can actually watch the coup cutscene and then skip that as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of trouble for just getting this one keystone pretty much quicker and to be able to skip that cutscene. And that overall saves, I do believe, like 20-25 seconds.
Yeah,
So-
the extra keystone means we can go to Moldwood first, which just makes routing a little bit more efficient. That means we have to do a few less teleports, and the teleport anywhere or like the fast travel animation is just pretty slow, so minimizing that is always good for the run.
Yeah, tiny advertisement on that note maybe, that Randomizer has reduced that timer to 2 seconds, so if you are bored of these long animations, play Randomizer. It's great fun.
Play
And on
main
that
quest
note-
order in the randomizer. That's what we need.
You can play all wisps, which is pretty much main quest order.
The order! Did you not watch the intro? It's about the order! So we're gonna see Turlo here. He's gonna be finding Hamburg as Bobies is gonna move through a sort of more relaxing part of the run where you're just floating around on coup. Doesn't always end up being relaxing because it can be very easy to just sort of make mistakes and end up dying, hitting spikes, hitting goop and stuff. So yeah, and there's a couple of skips still needs to be done in that session. As you see, Turtle making pretty quick work of Hamburg. I'd definitely say that Bo does look faster in this fight specifically. It doesn't mean it's always going to be faster in every fight. And Turtle's doing a nice job getting through that fight in a pretty quick fashion.
Yeah, always nice to see I think both combat is kind of satisfying because you just melt the bar off your enemies without doing much. And is now able to go towards Silent Woods as well, as Bobies is approaching the end of the area, is not quite out yet. There's a bunch of cutscenes coming up that some of them are skippable. We will see if he gets the scare skip, which involves very precise movement. We have seen it done twice so far in the tournament, I believe. So a very hard trick. And hopefully he gets it. He just needs to maybe not have leg spikes. That might help with
Definitely doesn't help. As you see Tittle here getting through, doing the rushing war / sad water skip. successfully using the double jump version instead of the aerial sentry version. And yeah, so we'll look on Bobies' screen here. This is very, very, very challenging to get right. Trying to basically race through this area faster than the cutscene that plays so that you can skip this cutscene that we're watching right now. So unfortunately, Bobby's not quite able to get that.
Talking about skipping small cutscenes, Turtle on the left did get the first Silent Woods cutscene skip. Didn't quite get enough height on that sentry, and Grapple just didn't want to aim for whatever reason. So I did need to take another sentry jump here, and gonna go for this wave dash. Very satisfying. Can move through the area as Bobies, is saying goodbye to Ku for the meantime. Everything is fine with her. She's just sleeping, just taking a nap after the excitement that is escaping Shriek, as Turtle is taking a bit of a dive.
Yeah, Turtle struggling a little bit with this area. The big problem with this specific section is if you can get through it first time, there's certain strategies, everything is very consistent. But if you do take a death, suddenly all the bubbles are just in very weird sort of and inconsistent cycle, and it can be quite challenging to not just like want to repeat your same movement that you were doing before, and then you go to a bubble that just doesn't exist because it's in a sort of odd phase of the cycle, and then you end up dying again. So Turtle doing a good job actually getting through the area eventually, but unfortunately taking sort of a couple of deaths in the process.
Yeah, and this is the one trick the Turtle has mentioned he will not go for until he gets it, if he takes more tries than energy he has. And you're kind of limited in that because you need to have, you need to place a sentry every try, so... Yeah, it is very precise timing, and I think it's great to see maybe some less experienced runner doing this trick, because it shows just how hard this trick is. So hopefully he can get it. We can even see that he's switched to, swapped to a different control scheme here to be able to use different binds, and he's deciding, yeah, I'm not gonna get it, so just gonna watch the cutscene. Honestly, fair decision.
Yeah, totally. He's also choosing to do the Sentry Dash version over the sort of newer Regen Dash version. And yeah, the Sentry Dash version is definitely coming. Like, I can't do the Sentry Dash version. It's just like, the Regen Dash version is definitely what I prefer to use. But yeah, choosing to watch a cutscene here, it makes sense. It's definitely a difficult sort of trick and sequence. And if you make mistakes, you can soft lock yourself, which loses an absolute metric ton of time. So you don't want to be doing that.
Yep, and we are seeing Bobies now into the first Wisp area. As you mentioned, we can kind of go directly into Moldwood from Quolox Hollow, where we respawn after the Ku section. And with that extra keystone, it means we don't need to do the second keystone here, but can instead just go directly to the door, open it, and continue through this area. It is, of course, a very dangerous area, because this darkness that you see encroaching Ori is instant kill. So whenever you are in the darkness for too long, you instantly die. Fortunately for us, a bow shot literally gives us light. I don't know how that works, especially because it's, besides the intended skill, one of the only skills that does it. But it works. I'm not questioning it. We're using it to go through this area very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to be Bobies again, choosing to just, I think maybe this will be the last time he gets some extra safety health, but is on 6 health, which is going to be nice for him because we're coming up to sort of what most people consider the hardest boss fight in the category, which is Mara. Just got to get through this last little bit of section with a few sentry jumps. And yeah, Mara is very, very, very challenging, and a lot can go wrong. So just having a little bit of extra safety health is going to make that fight just a little bit more comfortable for Bobies.
Yeah. Also, this is one of the bosses where Shuriken isn't necessarily helpful, because she doesn't have this huge hitbox where Shuriken just repeatedly hits it. So it needs to be very careful about this. One thing, however, is that Sword allows us to kind of stay in the air continuously, whereas Bow doesn't allow for that. So we can avoid all the spiders that might spawn in the fight and all the grounded attacks that Mora throws at Bobies.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
There's also the fact that like you can stun Mara by hitting her with Sword like 5 times or something, and it interrupts her current attack, which can be useful. So we're going to be seeing that a lot. Whereas with Bow, that doesn't happen, so you actually have to juke everything. But yeah, we can see Bobies might have a bit of an easy time with that because he's going to be mainly using Sword attacks.
Yeah, staying in the air very easily. Has not touched the ground, I think, since the fight started. So didn't need to avoid anything. And as you mentioned, the stun locks are working. First phase is already complete, is waiting for the bash plants to spawn and continuing through here. The second
Yeah.
phase, of course, is just a little escape sequence before you can continue to fight.
Doing a really good job there, and say like Mara's flying across the screen, and Bobby's just like using solid to reset, to double jump and dash, and just like staying next to her the entire time, and just like mashing her face with solid. That was really clean. On the other side of things, we've seen Till coming towards the end of the coup section. Just got these couple of cutscene skips to go for. The first one is a bit easier. Gonna be getting on that one, which is good job. And then the second one, we'll see if he can get, as Bobies is into the final phase of Mara, which is gonna be a little bit more challenging because he doesn't have Bo to give him light, so he's gonna have to hover around this little firefly bash plant, which also gives light.
Yeah, he's also opting to just equip Bo to be able to have that extra safety to give him light and not instantly die, because instantly dying loses a lot of time, especially because it resets the health bar of Mora back to the start of this phase. So yeah, nicely done with the first Wisp. Is gonna go onto Bower's Reach, kind of doing the fast route here as well. We're gonna see Turtle go for the exact same things as soon as we say goodbye to Ku on his end as well.
Yeah.
So, goodbye, Ku.
Safety health there for Bobby's paying off a million times over. He lived on that fight with 1 health. I think he almost dashed into Mora's face right before the end of the fight, which would have killed him, which would have been really sad. But yeah, living on 1 health, so the safety health that he picked up, which maybe cost him a little bit of time, completely justified by not dying in the Mora fight.
And Turtle is writing something. I am not sure. I think it's supposed to spell Ku, which, yeah, Ku. No. Goodbye, Ku. And Bobies entering this next area, this kind of frosty area. We're just gonna use sentry jumps and wave dashes throughout the entire area. You might see a theme here for the speedrun. And with that overcharge, it's gonna be a very quick area. We don't need to stop for the skill that this area has because of Sentry's abilities to also melt things, which is the only thing we really need. As, yeah, he's making his way through. Turtle is approaching Moldwood in the meantime. And gonna skip that cutscene and head into the same area. We will have to see how he deals. I think he's having a pretty good run, honestly.
Yeah, it's going well. He's gone through a lot of these sections very cleanly. Yeah, Bobby's doing a nice little bash glide here to sort of traverse this area. We're gonna see what he does here because he doesn't have the health to damage tank on the spikes. Just again, these aerial sentries are so unbelievably clean. Just goes through that section with 2 aerial sentries, perfect movement, and gets through that section extremely quickly. Nice job.
Yeah, and we're getting confirmation from our tracker, Fupio, that Turtle is indeed 30 seconds ahead of PB as of End of Woods. So, yeah, Bobies unfortunately is 2 minutes behind PB, so doesn't seem to have that great overrun compared to Turtle at least. Of course, still plenty ahead. Currently 8 minutes ahead of Bobies, of Turtle, of course. So, while the race might be a bit over for Turtle, he can still race himself.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, being 2 minutes behind PB in the context of a race is honestly not that bad. Like, it's very hard to sort of be consistently on your own PB pace in this sort of no reset, high pressure environment. So being 2 minutes behind is sort of like something that I would expect. And it's still a really good and clean run from Bobby so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully this fight is also gonna go well for him. Oh, has a bit of trouble with this mini beetle. Gets it down now. Just needs to fight the bees, also no problem. As Turtle is making his way through this darkness section. Fortunately for us, there's a bunch of points with just free light for us, so he is through the area. Just this one final wave dash towards Mora. First try. Very nicely done. Can watch this cutscene and also fight against the spider as Bobies once again surviving with 1 HP.
The safety health is just, yeah, absolute maximum value for Bobies here. Yeah, Turtle unfortunately double jumped during his wave dash and actually face planted the wall, just the ceiling a little bit, and actually Didn't get the full maximum value of the wave dash and had to do a little bit of slow walking, but not a huge time loss overall. We're going to see Bobies here going through this sort of very heavy vertical section. He's going to be coming up to another major cutscene skip here in the sort of Reach Wisp cutscene skip, so we're going to see how he gets on with that. As Turtle is about to start the Mora fight.
He only has 2 energy though, so he either needs to get this first try or QTM. Nope, absolutely no problem. With 1 health yet again.
He's got 1 health and no energy. And he also unequipped Overcharge just for flavor, I guess, because at 1 health that does not make a difference. But yeah. Turtle getting through the first section of, the first half section of Mora pretty cleanly. Just gotta get her down now. A little bit low on energy. It's unfortunate. Gonna have to use some sword swings to finish her off, which makes the fight a little bit riskier. But gets through section 1 without taking a death. Really clean. Good job. Bobies here. Oh, that's unlucky. Still just walks into those spikes. May have had a little bit of FPS issues there, and is now going to do the whole escape scene sequence again, including the skip.
Yeah, but gets the skip again into the escape, and with a bit more health. I don't think he can... Well, he should be able to survive 1 hit, but of course the avalanche is an instant death, so hopefully not gonna get hit by that. As Turtle is also low on health, gonna heal up and start shooting at Mora again. You can kind of lock her in as well. Gonna equip Reckless to be able to put out even more damage and also take less damage, which is very important in this fight. Gonna kill some spiders to get some more energy back and redirect the shots for more energy output. Now into the darkness phase, almost. Oh no! Takes a death into the spider.
Yeah, it's really hard. The most challenging part of this fight is if, as soon as phase 2 starts, you get the spider spawns. It's really hard to either not die or you have to spend lose a lot of time just killing the spiders, because they deal more damage than Mara does for some reason. These little babies, they deal like twice as much as she does. You see on the other side, Bobies not getting the most optimal sort of skip on that cutscene. As soon as the narrator starts talking, you can't skip and you have to wait a little bit, but does get through the escape on the second try and is now straight into the Quallock sort of escape sequence and boss fight after this cutscene.
No. Turtle taking another death. It can't be understated how hard this fight is, especially if you decide to do this order of wisps, since you get health and energy after each wisp. So if you do this as your first wisp, you don't have the 2 extra health to help you survive this fight. And this is a very hard fight, as mentioned many times before. So just needs to make sure, especially because it's really hard to heal in this fight, because there's just constant action on the ground. So needs to be aware as Bobies is starting the escape of Quallock. And gonna make sure not to die in the escape. And Turtle did it! Let's go.
Nice job, Turtle. Again, very close there. Down to the wire on a single health, but manages to clutch it out and get the Mara kill on maybe like 3rd attempt or something. Honestly, pretty impressive. Good job on that. Definitely a challenging fight. As Bobies here is going to be sort of just dashing, and while dashing through this escape sequence, the escape sequence is generally not very challenging, not something you have to worry about so much. The actual fight itself, though, we're going to really see the power of Shuriken in this fight. So yeah, let's watch for that.
Oh, yeah, the bar is just melting. Also gonna spawn some sentries potentially to have even more output here, but wow, first part already over. Water is spawning, doesn't even need to go for the energy because the slashes just do all the work and getting the shurikens in. Nice leg there game, and has done it.
I think he was on 1 health again.
Yes.
Safety health was like the greatest idea ever, apparently. Would have been 3 deaths in 3 different, especially in boss fights, which have lost a ton of time if you didn't take that, so...
It's doing all the extra work this run, as the Turtle is into the second section now, and starting that as Bobies is watching this sad lore. If you don't like sad lore, you can focus on the left side, because there's some great platforming about to happen. To go through this area, we need to do some sentry jumps, as well as just general great movement, avoiding enemies, using enemies, and avoiding spikes, so making quick work of that.
Yeah, we'll see what Turtle does in this section. Again, doesn't have the health to damage tank. Okay, so this is only opting to actually light up the candle. This is sort of like the safest, but also sort of the slowest way to do it, or one of the slower ways to do it, because you have to wait for the sentry to explode, and then we've got to wait a few more seconds for the air draft to appear, so we can actually use Feather to go up. But it is sort of a very consistent way of getting through the area without taking deaths, which is very easy to do. This is going to be a slightly more challenging section. We're going to place a sentry very, very, very close to those spikes, but also not hit the spikes so we don't die. See if Toto can get that second try. That should be good. So
yeah, it looks okay. With
nice.
the sea, yeah, and the avalanche is going, the snowball is rolling. Does want to go for this wave dash, gets it, very nicely done, and can now activate yet another kind of torch here to be able to, or candle rather, to be able to get to the final area of this area and start the combat arena.
Yeah.
And Bobies finished out the wisps.
Bobies is going to be now heading back over to the Silent Woods save that we got just incidentally as we flew past on Ku. Is going to be heading into Windswept Waste, which is the penultimate area of the game. And yeah, totally going to be going through this Bowers Reach combat arena, which is probably the most difficult one. There is definitely a lot of strats which should make this comfortable, but like it's just a lot of sort of like uncomfortableness that can happen. The beetle, sometimes the flies don't die easily, and the beetle, yeah, obviously struggling to get the beetle to hit the wall, but got some health drops, so that's going to be nice. As we see on the other side, Bobies is going for the Flora's Lava feeding ground skip.
And with those, wow, mid-air sentries just very nicely done. Gets through this with no problem, no cutscene to be watched here, just has this one cutscene here. This little voice of the forest telling us, oh no, please, world, don't turn into a desert. As Turtle is getting through this vertical section here as well, with a bunch of sentry jumps. Honestly, this is just always very nice to see, very satisfying, because normally you need to glide up, and it's fairly slow. Let's see if he goes for the skip here.
So it's like it's going to be trying to go for it as Bobies is going through the big grapple section. Okay, so he's going to be choosing to watch the cutscene here, which is probably a sensible thing, because this area of the game is very weird, and if you QTM once you're in the cutscene, the game crashes a lot, at least it does for me. I don't know if everyone has experienced that. And crashing your game in a run is obviously something we don't want to have happen. It's sort of worse than just watching the cutscene, which still takes 40 seconds. So yeah, Till unfortunately didn't really get the height required and got sucked in. On the other side of things, Bobies has picked up our second to last ability in the game, which is called Burrow, which is mainly just going to be used in this section. It's a desert sand section. There's lots of sand everywhere. Yeah, but he's going to be flying through these areas as quickly as can as we beeline towards like the last escape in the game.
Yeah, we're just gonna go through this area. Our destination is just the last wisp. Since this is main quest order, we need to collect all of the wisps before we head towards our final skill, which is launch. And we're just gonna speed through here. We have the 2 keystones that we collected in Moldwood, so we don't need to get them from this area. So we can just speed through all of this. Unequip Overcharge, honestly, good idea, because all of these enemies are just way easier to deal with if you don't have to avoid them.
Yeah, and I can't speak for Shuriken combat specifically, but at this point in the game, you don't need overcharge ever again if you're using bow. So yeah, there's no reason to not change to reckless at that point, just because it makes it a lot safer. When Swept Waste spikes do like fall damage or something, so like you can get 2-shot by any spikes if you have overcharge equipped.
Yeah, absolutely. Turtle now done with this next area is gonna go at towards his last area here, which is the Quallock fight. And Bobies healing up here because there is an upcoming laser section here where we just damage boost through the laser, and now just needs to hit a bunch of sentry jumps to be able to get to this last, well, kind of story heavy area, because the voice is just gonna tell us all the story of Niven, whether we want to hear it or not. So yeah, we're gonna try to skip as much as possible.
Yeah, we're going to be aiming for the all not part of that sentence, but sometimes we're sort of forced to. Bobies didn't actually go inside. He started dashing away, but wasn't actually in the temple yet. So it's gonna lose just a couple of seconds, but it's not a big deal. As you see, Turtle is watching Quallock menacingly come out the water. He's gonna be going through that escape sequence and then the fight. But yeah, so Bobies gets through one skip fine, and then there's two that we're forced to watch, and then there's one that is somewhat skippable, but is sort of very RNG dependent, so it's not a reliable skip at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Turtle is trying to say here. He's kind of drawing a nix over Quallock. Maybe just frustrated with the cutscene. It is fairly long, but speaking of long cutscenes, we're gonna watch probably the longest cutscene that we have to watch in the game soon. As Bobies is finishing up the Windtorn ruins, there's this big angry worm, and before that, the voice and Seer are gonna talk to us, and it's long. It's probably longer than Turtle's fight against Quallock, so let's look at that.
Yeah, for sure. Bobi's actually getting this wave dash into a safe point. It does allow him to skip this last panel section. But yeah, on the other side, Turtle getting through the first section of Quallock cleanly. It's got a good amount of health. Generally, this fight is like pretty comfortable because you do just have a lot of health to work with, but there's definitely still can go wrong here. There's also a switch to Reckless because we have a bunch of energy and we can definitely take advantage of the extra damage that we're going to be doing with that. Doing some nice def dodges of these projectiles that are coming out. And yeah, it's doing a good job.
And Quallock is defeated. So cutscenes on both sides. So maybe the question is, what are you looking forward to towards like the actual end game now?
I'm always super excited to watch people play Willow Tree. Willow Tree, in my opinion, is just like it's by far the highest skill cap skill ceiling and area in the game. It's sort of like there is unlimited skill ceiling in Willow, like what you can sort of do in that area, and also it's just very challenging in general. See how players can perform, and especially when it's coming towards the end of a run, you might be feeling a little bit more nervous again. Especially if I mean in this race it's not so close, but if the race is close, yeah, we're gonna see if players can hold their nerves, if they can perform, and how well they can do in Willow. So yeah, Willow Tree is sort of like my favorite area of the game. Even though I can find it's definitely can be frustrating when things go wrong. Yeah, but I'm pretty excited to see how both runners perform in Willow.
I just want to point out that Turtle on the left is kind of petting Quallock and the Moki surrounding, and was I think he was drawing an F. I don't know what word he tried to right now, but yeah, Bobi's now back into the action after this very long cutscene with this burrow section. Of course, both our runners are KBM players, so even though, yeah, you are experienced at this, Ruins Escape can still be a bit tricky because you are fairly limited in your movement options here. So hopefully the worm won't catch up to Bobby. So far it's doing a good job at just beating the worm. Gonna burrow through here and get into the next section.
Yeah, generally the issue in Escape is not the worm, it's just the spikes, because Bobies is on 4 health, so if he hits any spikes here, he will die and have to do the whole thing again. The worm was like extremely potent and too strong in the initial release of the game, so Moon nerfed it. And now when it gets close to you, it just like stops moving. Basically, it's very sort of slow. Gives you a lot of time, so long as you don't panic. Even if you do make mistakes that make it get close, you still actually have a lot more breathing room than it looks like. But Bobi's able to sort of a little bit awkward in some of these sections, but able to get through the escape cleanly. So good job with him. For him, and we're going to have to see if he decides to walk left or stand still, which is going to be a sort of important thing for Willow Tree and Shriek fight.
Yeah, it's a very important decision, and he's opting for the patience skip. Just standing still for a bunch of seconds means we can teleport like 3 seconds, 5 seconds before the cutscene would be over. So yeah, gets through just the waiting period as Turtle is through feeding grounds and now into this windswept waste area. Just needs to get burrow and also follow into ruins as almost a high five is occurring, and Bobies is teleporting back towards the other end of the area.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Turtle not opting to go for the Flora's Lava version of Feeding Grounds, the most difficult trick. Just Okay, nice. Nice Ori physics there. Love just like my dash making that thing move for no reason whatsoever and dying. So just, Ori things doesn't make any sense, but it happens. But yeah, he chooses to not do the floor's lava, just a little bit more comfortable. But is now almost through this section. Is going to be pretty much going to be grabbing Burrow just in a few seconds.
Yeah, did take a bunch of did go into spikes only on one energy, so needs to be a bit careful, but is now through the hard part. The tree is right here and is gonna reset his health and energy to full. As Bobies is doing this elevator fight. I'm always wondering why this bugger cures where you seemingly have less health and energy, but or total health and energy than you actually do. But yeah, Bobby's now done with this. Almost done with this. There's one more here. Two more? This fight is confusing sometimes.
There is one more after this. It's 4 total. I don't know if Bobby's either just chooses not to. I don't know if he healed at the teleport directly after teleporting to get to this section or not, and that's why his health and energy is so low. Whether that it was a mistake on his part or just something that he chooses to do because he doesn't need to worry about killing the enemies with bow, so he just doesn't want to take that slight time loss and getting the health and energy restore. Well, I actually will probably ask him that after the game for the interview because that's an interesting point. Oh, yeah. Half a health, but it's going to be getting a full refresh here in just a second as we pick up the most broken ability in the game, launch.
Yeah, this one health cell just doing all the work here.
Just keeps on giving.
It's truly wow, amazing to see. As Turtle is almost through this area as well, is gonna approach the lower area as Bobies is hitting the end of Willow and is gonna go up here. Ooh, takes a bit of didn't take laser damage and is gonna approach this final dungeon. 8 hearts between us and an angry bird. So let's see how he's doing.
For sure, yes. Diddle gets through the sort of laser. The laser section there is now going to be taking a death, and then, a bit unlucky there with the damage tank. Sort of brushed the outside laser before. Yeah, and this gets really annoying because if you die here, it's like the cycle is always perfect to what you just died to, so you're oftentimes going to end up repeating it. So Total Heroes is going to have to sort of take some more damage. That's unlucky as Bobies is choosing to go bottom left heart first. But yeah, on Total's side, getting a good cycle, finally he's able to get that damage tank through and get through to the next section.
Yeah, you might see, actually, I think you could see that the Turtle is just not as experienced with this area, not recognizing maybe that you can also go the other way around. Of course, this way is faster even if you die a bunch, so maybe just planning on doing that as Bobies is done with the first heart, is gonna go towards the right for the second heart. Gonna take a quick dip into lava, no problem, the autosave does mean we have the heart still and can go towards the right directly. Didn't quite get the pogo off of the exploding enemy here, but still through this heart. Gonna need to destroy it with sword since he doesn't have any good damage on bow. And Turtle is clicking through some lore.
Yeah, so Bobies are not able to get the cutscene skip, but pretty nice job in getting the avoiding the Indiana Jones moment without having to use bow. So good movement there, and just you can tell Bobies is definitely practiced in this area. Moving through these sections very, very cleanly so far. Yeah, we're coming up to what do you call it? Quidditch, right? People call it Quidditch. I don't actually know why it's called Quidditch. It's not like
I don't know either.
Quidditch players bend things around corners, but Bobies. Oh, that's so unlucky. That's so unlucky. I was thinking that it was going to be okay, but yeah, just a little bit too close to the ground with the second bash. Going to be going for attempt number 2 here. This one looks better. Yeah, that should be nice. Yeah, so the only thing there is maybe bashing and hitting the spikes, but gets through cleanly. Doesn't get the cutscene skip, but overall good job from Bobies on that side.
Oh no, Turtle getting sucked into the cutscene there. Didn't quite get the save point, I think, so has to watch it. But almost through, almost at the long cutscene before the warm. Oh no, takes another death here. But now needs to grapple and is through after destroying the corruption. Oh, did get the save, so is QTMing to skip that animation as well. I just love seeing him go for all the strats.
Yeah, for sure. Nice job on that. Bobies full hearts down. Having a few issues on Hatfall again, missing the cutscene skip and struggling just a little bit and reaching the sand. Burrow can be so cruel with how close you have to actually be to the sand for it to activate sometimes. And sometimes the game even shows you the little blue indicator that you can dash into sand, and then it doesn't let you because you're not actually close enough. So, yeah, but getting through that thing cleanly enough is now reading the law text instead of skipping it. Seems good. But now we're going to be heading over to Hat 5.
I might have seen some Bobies' typing on Discord, so might have accidentally or on purpose tapped out of fear, and is gonna go through this last, or not last, but one of the harder hearts here. Oh yeah, okay. Bobies is just making sure that we don't get horrible sound at the rock boss. Because one property of Shuriken with that boss is that it kind of amplifies the sound you get from that boss. So that can get very loud very easily.
I guess it's hitting like a bunch of different rocks in very quick succession, which makes sense why it's so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing the reason why we picked up Winclip here, assuming that Bobies does remember to equip it. And yeah, this boss I assume is gonna melt in like 5 seconds or something. Just need to break the walls, and then yeah, the health power is just quickly evaporating. You basically with Winclip you'll see one attack and one attack only, and it's 5 seconds and the boss is done. Obviously, Subtotal doing a good job so far, making it through the sandworm escape.
Yeah, this can again be a bit tricky if you don't know your burrow angles very well, but making a great job keeping ahead of the worm, which is the important part. Gonna stall here for a bit, so having a bit of a relaxed moment before heading back into the worm. Does even catch the worm tail a bit. So now, gonna continue onwards through this escape. Yeah, one half done, another half to go, as Bobies only has one more heart and then can face against the final boss of the game.
Yeah, so this last heart is all about timing. There's going to be a nice damage boost here if you get through the section quickly. The wheel will just about ready to open up for on the other side, so good job on that. Actually was faster than it needed to be for that. And then we got to dodge some lasers, and then the next one, doesn't quite manage to get in the right position to get the super fast cycle on the third spinning wheel, but only missing one cycle there, so doing a pretty good job overall. We've got one last heart here. We'll see if we can get the cutscene skip for this one. Doesn't manage to get it. This one lasts a little bit longer because we have to watch the bit in the middle explode. So this one cutscene skip is worth a little bit more. But yeah, has now be very, very soon to be fighting Shriek.
I am trying to decipher what he's writing there with his mouse cursor, but it's too fast happening, and I'm not even sure. I'm gonna ask him about this, but yeah, he's done with that. Gonna approach Weeping Ridge, as Bobies did try for that sentry dash, didn't quite. Did bonk a bit, but now can start the final boss. And yet another boss fight where Shuriken can deal a lot of damage very quickly if he hits everything here. Yeah, you can see just Shriek's head bopping because of all the Shuriken hits.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of trouble taking a bunch of damage though. That's not super ideal. To be taking a lot of damage on phase 1, and you're seeing a lot of erratic mouse movements suggesting that Bobies maybe not so happy with how that phase went. Takes a little bit more damage there to win invisible damage hitbox, because that's a thing. But yeah, there are definitely some attacks that we're going to want to be damage tanking in phase 2 potentially. So only being at 2.5 health here is not a particularly ideal situation, and may slow down Bobies' Shriek fight overall.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't mean that he's gonna die. He can take an intentional death before this last phase, is instead opting to just heal a bit to be able to damage tank this phase here, or this attack rather. Can attack her, hopefully not getting too bad of RNG. This is a good phase, a lot of damage that can be done in this phase, so wow. Yeah, just gonna do this while Turtle is also fighting some enemies here in the elevator. and is gonna rapidly approach the last skill, kind of wiggling around the 0 energy he has, or almost 0 energy, as Bobies almost done with the health bar. Oh, gets a swoop attack. Please no background attack. Oh, I'm
that's
sorry,
unlucky.
Bobies. I am sorry.
Bobies is literally like one solid hit away from getting the 2 cycle there. Like Shriek is literally 1 hit away from him finishing the phase. So yeah, I think he could have done it. Yeah, literally 1 solid hit. So I think he could have done it, and avoided that background attack. Just very, very, very unfortunate to sneak that extra little bit of damage in.
Yeah, but he gets it now. Hopefully, doesn't take a death in the final phase, as Turtle just a quiet launch. So also one Willow between him and Shriek, and then he's done as well. Unfortunately, he seems to be behind PB at this point, and by quite a margin, so maybe he can still get it. I'm still hoping for that, and GG on Bobies while I was talking.
Yeah, GG's Bobies making very, very quick work of the last section, as you probably would expect. And yeah, so GG's to Bobies. Bobies is going to be taking this race down, and he'll be moving on to face M. Zuzek, seed number 4 in round 2 of the main quest order tournament. And yeah, on the other side, we're going to be seeing Turtle go through and get into Willow and do his Willow run.
Yeah, that will be the closest race of the second bracket phase, because it is seed 4 versus seed 5. But yeah, GG to Bobies. That was quite a great run.
Yeah, really clean. Was very impressed with a lot of his movement and stuff, and yeah, obviously showing that Shuriken is a sort of very viable alternative way to play main quest order. If if you don't like bow combat, it doesn't. I don't think it looks better than bow, but it's definitely a solid option. And yeah, I'm definitely impressed with how Bobies is playing this, and I do think it's going to be a genuinely fascinating match against Mzuzek. Mzuzek is also a bit untraditional because he runs real-time strategies, even though we're playing the tournament in game time. So yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out.
Oh, Turtle trying for this cutscene skip. Oh, did get the save, so this should be working this time around. Didn't quite get it the first time. So now, hopefully, the heart is gone and can continue.
Yeah, it can be a little bit finicky with timing, because if you hit the save before the heart actually dies, if the arrows are still in motion, then you won't get the cutscene skip, and you'll have to do it again. And you don't really know that until you've spawned back in.
Yeah, it is a very finicky trick after all, and yeah, we had Scar earlier hitting all of them, but it is a very hard trick. And yeah, Bobies saying in chat that next time he's gonna get sub 1-5 at Shriek. I believe in that.
Yeah, good run overall. As you tell here, taking just a very, very unfortunate death right at the end of this long section for Hard 2 here. Yeah, just not getting enough, sort of launching a little bit too far away from this penultimate pole, didn't give him enough height, so then when he dashed, he just dashed into this little like spice to jut out. But able to get through here successfully, so that's going to be 2 hearts down for him as he continues to work his way through Willow.
Yeah, and yet again, just trying all the strats here, all the strats to time save. I can't wait for him to actually get some more experience under his belt and just do all of the strats with less problems. I mean, it's great to watch him already, but it can only get better, so very excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. I hope Turtle continues to play and continues to improve. Obviously, the more we have top level runners we have active in the category, the more competitive it's going to be, the more people are going to want to play. So, yeah, just having a little bit of an issue with this cutscene skip. I think he might have gone on that attempt. Yeah, oftentimes with these skips for specifically in Willow, where involve you dashing into a save, if you see the save icon, that oftentimes means you were too quick to hit the save. Like, it's a bit weird, but the save icon won't show up if like the animation starts playing. So if you know you've dashed into where the save should be, but you don't see the save icon, so I'm actually a lot more confident in that situation that I will have done the skip successfully, versus when I see the save icon means it was it doesn't mean that if you see the save icon that you will have failed, but it's more likely that you'll have failed.
Oh wow, Turtle on the Turtle kind of super close to some spikes here with the Quidditch, but did get it very nicely. Let's see if he also got the skip. Yes, heart is gone. And very interesting insight. I did not know that that is how the skip works. Great to have you here explaining the tricks.
Yeah, for sure. So turtle, nice. Okay, gets through. A little bit awkward. Yeah, the elementals when they're using their laser are never nice because when you bash off of them, you just always take damage and lose any of your bash momentums. You just end up sort of stuck in like no man's land. It's very awkward. We're gonna be going through this second try. Seems to be doing better. Nice, pretty much there now. Nice. And there's another attempt to do a cutscene skip here. Actually going for a little bit of a different place where most people usually stand. Most people usually stand sort of directly below the heart because it gives you a little bit more leeway with the dash. Oh, okay, good. But I was hoping he wasn't gonna just run off, like leave with the heart still being there because that would have been a little awkward. Realizing his mistake though. Usually for me for this section, I know if I failed because the music is different when you load back in. So yeah, that's also a way specifically for this one to know if you've failed or succeeded without even having to look at the heart.
Yeah, it can be, but it's always different. Like what runners kind of base their momentum off, and what kind of triggers they kind of memorize. So I'm not sure if every runner is like aware of the music change. So yet again, really cool to have you on here.
I mean, some people don't even run with music, right? So they don't have any music cues. But
I mean, to be fair, for the tournament, we definitely encourage running with music because restreaming without music is kind of sad.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. Yeah, at least for me. Let's see. Oh, Patel's out of energy. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't get the cutscene skip if you have energy because as soon as it dies, you're locked in your movement. But yeah, at least for me, sound cues are generally really helpful, and there's a lot of different sound cues throughout the run that I'm using to help me with certain timing of things.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Gareth Coco with the music, just like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always happy to I don't know, people don't run with music, but I like to run with music because our music is fantastic. So we're gonna be seeing Turtle here. It's gonna be fighting Willowstone, so doesn't have wing clip, or I don't believe. Gets the sort of unlucky laser cycle where it goes towards you and you have to go up and around it. But yeah, even without wing clip, it's just a case of holding down your bow button and pointing at it, and it will eventually die. So good job on Turtle for that. Gets that cleanly, doesn't take any damage there, which is always nice because the next sections you can optionally do some damage tanks, or maybe inadvertently it's very easy to take damage from these different laser cycles. So having full health areas just makes the next section always going to be a little bit more comfortable.
And I mean, Turtle in the previous podcast where he was commentating with me said that he doesn't consider Willowstone a boss or even a mini boss. So I mean, it's fair enough that he defeats him without any problem.
It's not, in the context of this and the speedrun, it's not really a boss. It dies so quickly, it does almost nothing. It's just like a mild inconvenience for us to have to deal with. And now that wing clip strats have been recently introduced into the category, it's even less of a of a mild inconvenience. You just sort of it just dies so freaking quickly nowadays. So Turtle here getting through Heart 7 fine is going to be doing some nice movement to get through the damage tank here. So same thing with Bobies here. Get some good movement, momentum, able to get through the second heart quickly. And if you can get the timing right, close. Almost getting the fast third wheel cycle there, but just missing it. But yeah, didn't really lose any time. Well, now did because he took a death because the second phase the cycle was still basically there waiting for him. But yeah, going to be taking it a little bit slower now.
Yeah, you kind of need to glide in between your launches, and I think he thought he had that already, but didn't actually. I don't think that worked. He did stand in the same position that he started with, but luckily the heart at least said, oh, never mind. I'm never gonna comment on this again. I'm always getting it wrong.
Yeah, so got the last cutscenes here. That's good. That's if you're gonna get any, that's the one to get because it saves more time than the other ones. So yeah, we're just gonna be traversing very quickly back through Willow Tree here to go to the Shriek section. It's gonna be interesting here to see how Till approaches this Shriek fight. So I think Mara generally is sort of like the hardest boss, but I think Shriek is definitely the boss where you can has the most scope for being optimal. Like there's a ton of skill involved in being really efficient in a Shriek fight, and sort of like it makes a big difference. So a lot of people talk about like I know obviously things like counting swoops and hoping for background attacks, but the better you are at actually just performing the fight, a lot less RNG the fight is. Because if you can consistently 2-cycle the boss in turn 3, regardless of the attacks that are given to you, then you're much less likely to see a background attack in the first place.
Yeah, that is a fair point. And unfortunately, it seems like Turtle won't be getting a PV during this run. But regardless, he's having a great run. He's showing off some of the strats that he's trying to learn, and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, 100%. Like props to him for just like definitely you could you try and play a tournament run. You definitely in the mindset that you want to play safe. You don't want to too much pressure on yourself. You don't really want to go for things because you're maybe like trying to win a race. Oh, nice little recovery there. But yeah, Total instead just being like, yeah, you know what? I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm just gonna go ham. I've been practicing all the stuff. I'm just gonna go for it and see what I can do in this race. And I've been definitely showing off a bunch of cool stuff. So to him.
And yeah, if he continues to finish this fight. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about this time because Caster Curse is real. He's having a really nice attack here, so just standing still, attacking Shriek. Ooh, another great attack. Is gonna put out a lot of damage here. Not quite enough to go into the last phase, but with this attack it should work out. Hopefully if he gets some more sword slashes in here. Yes, health bar disappears, so final phase. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, an intentional death to regain some energy and health.
Yeah, so really nice Shriek cycles there overall. Not quite able to get the 2-cycle mainly because missed some damage at the start of the phase where Shriek always will jump down and scream at you. It's important to get maximum damage in that phase to get a good 2-cycle. But getting like the 3-cycle and not really having to suffer having 1 swoop only, not bad at all. So we're going to be going here into the final phase. Let's see sort of the strat that Till chooses to go for this. I'm going to be going for a few bashes, but misses all the damage, so that's good. And I'm just going to get the head down. And no. Slither of health. That's really unfortunate.
Yep. Fortunately, then it's only 2 sweeps and GG.
GG.
Now I can say he finished 3.5 minutes faster than his average time for the prelims, so well done, Turtle. And we do in fact have both runners on deck for an interview, so let's pull them in and ask them some questions potentially. GG to both of you for some great runs, honestly. Great to watch, both of you.
GG, Bobby.
GG's.
Yeah, GG's.
So first question maybe to Bobies. We saw you picking up that extra health on the trial as well as in depths.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw you going around the world with 1 HP a lot. So how did your HP make you feel during the run?
I didn't even notice it that much, actually. I'm gonna be honest. I noticed it at the reach escape because I took off overcharge and then was just like, well, I'm 1 hit anyways, so it didn't really matter. But apart from that, I didn't notice it too much. I guess I just roll with it.
You were basically 1 HP at every major point.
Yeah,
Okay.
every boss fight, just like 1 health, it's fine. Just like clutching it out. Is that a strategy that you are using specifically for the tournament, or is that just something that you like to do in your runs in general, just to have that little bit of extra safety during these sort of difficult boss fights?
Well, coming back from ACF, we always get that health cell when we did the trial. And so it felt kind of stupid to skip that health cell, so I just took it, and then I routed another health cell in the depths to get that extra safety, but it's something I always do. But it turns out it's very useful, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It probably
safety.
saved you like 2 minutes of time in this run. Like that's not even a joke. Legitimately, like 2 minutes of time was saved by having that extra health.
It's fine because 2 minutes was lost to me lagging, so it evens out. It's all good.
Nice.
Oh yeah, actually, related question to that. Have you ever seen that out of bounds happening in Hollow?
No, that was the first time it happened. I'm not too surprised by it, but when it did happen, I kind of just like was like, what? Oh, like it was so smooth. Like I just went in there.
Yeah,
it was
you just
kinda-
dashed
it's
and
fun.
suddenly you were out of bounds.
The floor is a lie. I've never seen that one before either, but you know, a new year, a new random out of bounds in the main quest auto run. That sounds about right to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so go ahead, Seal.
Oh, I was gonna say you go ahead.
Yeah, so Turtle, we saw you going for a bunch of tricks, and I wanted to ask you, which one are you the most proud of during this run?
In terms of stuff that I actually hit, honestly, I felt really good about my wave dashes. Like that's something that I used to get like maybe every other one I'd hit it first try, and then if I miss it, I would hit it like 10th try. But now I think I'm a lot more consistent with that, and I'm pretty proud of how many of those I hit throughout the run.
Yeah, they were pretty satisfying to watch, so congrats on those.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I think just in general, like I guess the question on just like what was your sort of thoughts and feelings coming into the run? So obviously you knew you're going to be facing Bobies, who at least on paper is obviously got a much lower time than you, and it's always going to be a really really tough match. So I just sort of interested to see like what your thoughts were behind your strategies. I know that you obviously were attempting to go for all these really difficult strats. Was that more just because you wanted to sort of was it to prove to yourself you could do it? Was it to you just wanted to try and go for the high roll and try and to be you thought that was your best shot at winning the match? Like just sort of like maybe ideas a little bit behind your strategy for this match specifically.
Yeah, I went for all the strats definitely for me. Like Bobies is incredible, and I would never beat them even if I had like every strat that I got first try. Just because I don't go for like the craziest stuff and I can't aerial sentry and etc. etc. But I do want to at least like do cool things and get a good time and look cool doing it. So that's what I always attempt to do, even if it kills me a couple times.
Nice. Yeah, it makes sense. And I think for most of the run, I think you were actually ahead of your PB pace. So yeah, I think towards the end it slipped a little bit, but yeah, you obviously have a pretty solid run on stream in front of a bunch of people. I think that went really well.
I did also get a Shriek Gold, so that's always fun, even if the rest of my run was a little stinky.
Nice. Never complain about that. Bobies, I have another question for you regarding Elevator. So you did patient skip. Was it an intentional choice to not heal and get energy afterwards? I think that's what happened. I wasn't watching fully, but when I was just noticing the elevator height, you just were like full health to energy, and I'm not sure if that's just I'm using Sword and Shuriken, so I don't actually need to worry about the energy unlike bow users, or was that just a mistake on your part?
Saving there actually. Now that I think about it, yeah, I've never saved there. I always just go up, and I'm really low on energy, but it doesn't matter too much with Shuriken, because like I try and use them for the two of them that spawn and that actually delay the auto scroller, but the two others I can just finish them with sword. So normally like 1 or 2 energy is enough. So I just don't heal, I guess. But yeah, that's just a choice I make.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, then. Oh, do you have any more general questions or specific questions, rather, Seal?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Well, then maybe as a general question to you, Turtle, do you plan on continuing MQO outside of this tournament now that you're out? And if you do, or if you want to go for other categories, what kind of is your goal?
Probably not a ton more MQO, at least for about a month or so, just so I can like take a break, because I've been doing this a lot in my like off-stream spare time. But maybe something like Rando next.
Ooh. Yeah. That would be great to see. For sure. And
Definitely would.
similar question to you, Bobies. You're still in the tournament, of course, and your next opponent is MZZ. So my question to you is, how do you feel about him as an opponent? Do you think you have a chance? Will you change anything about your route?
I don't know too much how I'm feeling currently because that run didn't feel great. It's certainly not something that's good enough to beat Zuzek, I feel. But I feel like if I train a bit, I could potentially win, and I'd like to. Like it'd be cool. So I'm gonna try and train a bit more in this coming week, and probably maybe learn like one or two things that I don't know yet too much strat wise, and just like work on consistency as well, I guess.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting to see for sure. And yeah, with that, I think we're done. Unless you have some more questions, Seal, for our runners.
No questions. I just again want to iterate the GG. I think you both did fantastic runs, and that was definitely a fun race.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And good luck
absolutely.
with your next runs, Bobies.
Thank you. I will take all that luck because I definitely need it.
Yeah, but with that, that's it in terms of Ori for this weekend. We don't currently have any more scheduled matches. We have to wait on our runners to schedule their next matches, and those will probably happen around the next weekend. Maybe a few during the week. We'll see about that. But yeah, that was all the Ori we had for tonight. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for Apple for the 2-hour or 3-hour or 4-hour restream here. Thanks for Seal with helping out on comms during this match, and thanks to Fupio for supplying us with stats and keeping us up to date with the runs. So thank you all for making it happen, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. Bye bye.